This is my 30-gallon aquarium, and in it I have 4 sunburst platies and 7 guppies. This big female here in the front, she was apparently pregnant when I got her, and she had a bunch of babies, and now I have 7. There's one of my sunburst platies. They like to stay in the cover. They're very pregnant, so they're avoiding everyone right now. And I've got a Aqua Clear 70 on this. I always overfilter because it seems to be like what I found on YouTube is that overfiltering and understocking is the best thing to do to keep a healthy aquarium and plant the crap out of it. With my guppies and my sunburst though, I figured that they were really hard on the sand because I had sand as a substrate, but they kept digging in it and just making a mess. So I got pebbles, and now I use the root tabs and put root tabs in every like 3 weeks, and it seems to do a really good job at growing my plants, and they all look good, and some of them are even purpling out, which makes the tank look interesting. And I let some of the plants float just because the guppies and everybody likes that. And then I've got a 200-watt heater in here and a sponge filter. And I keep a sponge filter in here because it helps with the nitrate, and the ammonia levels, stuff like that. It helps this tank because the platies are pretty dirty. And I found that quickly I upgraded to my 55-gallon because I just fell in love with the hobby. And then I found a free one on Craigslist, which is 120. It's over there. It was free with a stand, so I picked it up as soon as I found it. And it's got scratches on this like a little part of the corner, and that's why it was free. So I lucked out, and it holds water. I already checked. But this is my 55-gallon aquarium, and in it it's got neon tetras, which you can see right here, and my dwarf Grammy. I have 2 of those in this tank, but he's the chief. The other one is kind of more timid. And I've got 10 longfin leopard danios, 2 out of sinkless, a bristlenose pleco, and what else did I forget? Oh, 2 bumblebee catfish. And I have a Marineland 360 on this tank, along with my internal filter, which is right there, and that's an IF40 from National Geographic. I have a 300-watt heater, and I have another sponge filter, which I love because I can take this one out and seed my 20-gallon hospital tank if I have to. And as you can see, all my floating containers, just because my snails went all crazy and started populating the world, I ended up with 7 hatches, and they're kind of mixed together, but like the first hatch is majority is over here, and the second and third hatch is in here. You can tell the difference. Like the second hatch is there, and real little ones is the third hatch. But then I have a couple more in here. And I just rigged it up, so I took a pop bottle and inverted it, the lid inside itself, and filled it with like 2 inches of water. And then took a mealworm container lid, drilled some holes in it so they can just fall right down into the water. Cut a little slot on each side so to hook it onto my brace bar in my tank, keep it from floating around. Works great. It's awesome. And they love this little breeder box. But this also works for, there's the dad, one of the dads. It also works for breeding fish. My Daniels just spawned in it a few weeks ago, but I've sold all those already. But I put plants like this in there, but more, and they spawned, and I took my big female right there, and I have a really pretty Operius male, and I bred those 2 together and got some really nice looking babies that I sold to my local pet stores. But yeah, and then I have some marine pure bowls in there, just in the background. Do really great with growing bacteria. Even if you just put them in your tank like this, they do an amazing job. I also have them in my canister filter. Is 2 trays of that are full. And then I have some fluval media in the bottom tray. And it works great. I love canister filters. That invention is brilliant. If you don't have a canister filter and you have a bigger tank than 29 or 30 gallons, definitely invest in one. That's the best advice I've gotten off of YouTube. Everybody says, hey, canister filters, they work great. And I was skeptical at first, but they do. They're amazing. And you can see one of my sunbursts. She's very pregnant. I'm going to take her out and put her in our breeder box here shortly. But the rest of them back there, there's 3 females and 1 male. So I breed sunburst platies. And I breed longfin leopard danios. And I do it all just in these 2 tanks. But pretty soon I'm going to move this whole entire tank into my free tank that I just got, my 125. As soon as I get a filter big enough for that. I've ordered one off of Amazon, the Sun 404. I've heard good reviews on that, so I'm hoping it works well. But I've also noticed that there's not a lot of information on snails and like how to take care of them and what to feed them. So what I've been doing is I put in the calcium feeders, you know, for the week, like the weekly feeders, and they love those. Along with, you can see all down here, along with algae wafers, tons of algae wafers, tons of shrimp pellets, like they feed catfish because they love them. And if you can see in this one, I just put a new one in here, and all the food down here, like the algae wafers and the shrimp pellets, they will all be gone in the morning. They will eat all that. And they eat all the dead plant matter off of this plant. Okay. Doesn't really focus very well, but hopefully you can see them on there. And I feed them blanched zucchini every 2 days. Along with all that. Because I've just kind of taken everything off of the internet and off of YouTube that I've read about and implemented it into this. So hopefully it works. And I think I just found a bad snail back there on my heater. There's a snail back there. I'm gonna go pull him off before he goes anywhere. So I hope you find this video helpful on some level or another.